So, in spite of what anyone who disagrees with my opinion on racing games believe, I race. Not just sim racing, but rebuild karting too. I'm not going to pretend as if I'm the next Verstappen or even that I'm good at all, but it's something I've been doing for a few years now because thankfully a lot of the rental championships here in this decrepit shithole landmass we call England are fairly affordable. We did one thing right. So over the last few years I've spent a lot of my spare time and money karting both for fun and to compete, seeing as unless my scratch card addiction pays off, I'm never going to race real cars. I've been sitting on a lot of footage, yes, that's uncomfortable as it sounds, so I thought to finally get a video out after a while, I'd take you through some old footage I have laying around and talk over it in order to pad runtime and maybe sound like I know what I'm doing sometimes. So before we get into this, I would like to take a moment to thank you for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers. This channel's existed for over 10 years under a lot of different names, and I'm really glad to see that something's finally worked and I can make videos I care about and have fun with, and there's people that will enjoy it. Thanks to everyone who's shown interest or support, and even thank you to those who don't, because I still get money when you watch. So for a bit of background, here in the UK we have something called TeamSport, which is a big chain of indoor karting tracks dotted around the country, and they have some subscription models that allow people who want more than to drive around surrounded by people who have never seen a throttle pedal before, and it helps them find some relatively competitive racing. Part of these members-only events is the Grid Series, a 6-round championship held individually at every track, with your best 4 races contributing to your points tally. The race involves practice, 3 10-minute heat races with a rotating grid, and your points tally across those races set your starting position for the final main race. And a few years ago, I ended up doing this championship as one of my local tracks at the time. The TeamSport Preston was hosting it, so I thought it'd be fun to look back at this footage and have a look to determine whether I'm worse or better than I say I am. Right, so while someone yells at us, here we go. We're underway now, and as you can see, I'm not leading. That's a problem. Just gonna stay glued to the back of this guy here. Dylan Hyde, he's someone who you'll see a lot during this video. He's quite prolific at these karting things, but fuck him, I guess, because yeah, I passed him. It was honestly just a case of trying to see where he was gonna slip up. It happens to the best of us, and obviously having him defend tight, if he was carrying too much speed to try and combat me, he was going to drift out wide. Managed to take advantage of that, and now we've pulled a little bit of a gap, which is obviously great. I don't want people challenging me. I don't want to race, actually. I hate racing. I'd much rather just drive off into the distance. As you can see here, this track is quite low grip in the grand scheme of things. It's yeah, you do need to be quite careful with your turns, but yeah, when I did pull away on lap 1, but I haven't pulled away that much. But then by whenever the hell this is, we've made quite the breakaway. He's way behind now. I'm not trying to sound like a dick. I sound like a dick. I promise I'm not a dick sometimes. But here, we'll just take you through this section here, which is like incredibly on edge. You can feel the car bottoming out a lot of time, and you're really pushing it to its limits there. I don't think you're on the brakes much here. You probably still wouldn't use the brakes here. You'd be surprised. I refer to it as engine braking. It might be, it might not be. As soon as you let off the throttle, these cars slow incredibly quick. So for a lot of these corners, I won't use the brake at all. I'll use my body to help rotate the car and just go off throttle. It works a hell of a lot better. To some of you, that might just be basic knowledge. To others, I might sound like I'm speaking moon runes. I promise it'll all make sense. But here, we'll jump just a little bit forward because I want to show you here just how close it gets. Touching the wall there, you can see how much I'm pushing. I tapped the wall a little bit on exit there, but this isn't just a one-off. This is the kind of thing that happens lap to lap when you're pushing to the absolute limit. Did it again there, cut the inside there, as you can see, and he even tapped the outside wall. It's really easy to do. You can see there how much I'm pushing the car. It's stuttering in places, just like when I do voiceovers, but everything works just fine. Crouching down in the seat there just to try and pull away a little bit. Obviously, I can occasionally like feel or see look behind me and see when the driver's closer. That's when I start trying to go for that 101% by crouching down in my seat. Luckily, not much happened in this race. Most of these lapped traffic who very graciously and very kindly fuck off out of the way. By now, though, I don't think I have much to worry about unless this guy does anything stupid, which, thank God, he doesn't. And as we come across the final corner here, hopefully, I'm going to get a nice flag waved at me. No, that's next lap. Never mind. I'm really bad at this voiceover stuff, can you tell? But anyway, you can just see here on this last lap, kind of just being careful about the movements. You do want to push, but it gets to a certain point when you're at the end of the race that is it really worth it? Like, if I push and I crash here and I lose, I'm gonna go out back and game end myself. Do I still have to say game end? I'm monetized now, I don't know. But either way, as we come across, I thought that was the final corner, it's not, and there's the checkered flag finally. So, quite a straightforward race one. Not too much to worry about. Obviously, this is my local track, so it's not much a learning experience. It was just, this was, I think, my first proper competitive race in karts. So I wanted to be careful. No one's yelling at us this time. No one's even there at the start line. That might be a problem. Anyway, we're green. Starting from P2 again, just going to sit behind the leading car here. It's not Dylan this time around. Can't remember who it was. This was a year ago. If you think I'm going to remember that, think again. Going to try around the outside, thinking of a bunch of different alternate lines because he's kind of hitting his marks here, but as soon as I try, there's the yellow flag. Going to assume someone died. I don't know. Do you think I can remember how long ago? I don't remember what happened yesterday. But yeah, just got to keep it slow, keep it safe. You can see the yellows up there, so just making sure, because they are quite strict around here. If they see me doing anything stupid, they will give me a penalty, so I want to play it safe. I could probably stretch the rules a little bit when they're not there. They are telling us to slow. The leader out front isn't, so I'm going to have a whinge about it. If you're going to bollock me for whinging, do it all you want, but if he gets a penalty, I win. You can't fault me. But I think it came from a genuine place of concern. I wanted him to slow. You can see the little hand movements, but yeah, I'm quite confused with what's going on. We turn green eventually, and I'm just like, what the fuck? He's pulled a gap on the yellows, which obviously you're not allowed to do, but I'm going to create a few more hand gestures, act like the Formula 1 standard game animations, and eventually I realised they're probably not going to do anything about it right now. So the best thing I can do is just keep at it, getting right to the back of him now. So we've managed to close the gap he created on the yellows, and thank you for that passing car outside. But here we go, heading on to the main straight now. We're getting quite close. There's a big enough gap behind me that I don't need to worry. I don't need to drive on my mirrors. I can drive purely on what's in front of me. And here we go, we're going to get some good speed here, but there's just not much we can do. We're closing in at the exact wrong point. Gonna try the cutback that worked so well for us on race one, but it just doesn't. He's covering his lines very well. And here we go, it's just, it's not tight, it's just his lines are very sweeping. There's no gap to go through. He's defending nearly perfectly. There he goes, a little bit wide for that last corner, but I follow him in, so I can't make the most of it. This section's flat out, so you're not really going to gain much. I think I do a bit on the hill, might be a weight thing. We tap him out of the way a little bit, I back out just because that's not really how I want to overtake. But after that, it's just kind of more follow the leader, sitting in formation. We're going to have to try and find a way past. And here, it looks like there might be, but he's arcing on the inside, and I don't want to make contact, so I back out, and we're just back at square one. I've got more momentum up the hill. but obviously it's just flat out here. It's hard to fashion a move, lose the rear there, so nothing's going to happen there. Go for the cutback again, but we just get stopped. I'm obviously upset, but that's just because it's a race. You're going to be annoyed. I do look like a little bit of a bitch, though. And here we go. We're giving him a little tap up with the rear. Not intentionally, obviously, but we're still just stuck behind him. Nothing we can really do. It's getting, obviously, quite frustrating. And that's probably why I'm gesticulating so much like a fucking moron. But, you know, everyone's here for a reason. We all want to win. Gonna try for a cutback here, but there's just no momentum around the outside. It's quite difficult to make moves around the outside in these karts without massive overspeed, so it just doesn't work there, and we're gonna just be behind him for another lap here. Gonna try and fashion a move down the inside, and there we go. He does try and cut back. He's gonna be around the outside, but as I just said, you can't make moves around the outside in these karts, and he's still on my tail. I know that through this section I've just got a little bit better momentum going up the hill, so I don't need to worry just now. As we go through here, I think I'm in the clear. Look behind me, and there we go. There's the tiniest gap in the world. Very big snap of the rear there. The car, I think, just bottomed out on the bottom of it. Obviously, we're going downhill straight into a sharp corner, so it's very easy to overload the car effectively and just do too much at once. Try and go into the spin as it's just recovering from the dip, but there we go. Just a little bit of a gap. Not really enough to feel comfortable, but enough that I don't need to drive defensively. I just need to go as quick as possible. I yawned. This is great voiceovers in this video, you know. You can see my steering movements with this car can be very... I don't want to say aggressive because it's not, but it's a fine line between being smooth and being aggressive, trying not to overdrive the corners and just finding that balance of pushing but remaining in control. You can see ducking down, just trying to get that last bit of performance because I'm still not breaking away from the karts behind me. As you can just see in the corner there. We're coming across lap traffic now, which, as much as every person who does this is, like, no one's stupid. Everyone is, like, a fairly competent driver. I still get worried. Luckily, he moves out of the way. Everything's A-okay. You can see, again, looking behind me, the gap is growing every bit. There's a little bit, top 10 most horribly aged quotes, but it's fine. Again, it happens. You gotta keep your head. Just don't lose your shit, for lack of a better term. You can see I'm still worrying ever so slightly about the karts behind and trying to make up for getting more than lap traffic, because even the ones who are gracious, obviously it's tight to the apex and wide out in these karts, so even if they're off and far out wide, sometimes they're still encroaching on your racing line, so you've got to be mindful. A little bit worried at this point because there's two lapped karts up ahead. Hopefully they both play it safe. And as we come across them here, just trying to not worry too much about the karts behind, just praying that the gap is big enough and that nothing happens with these two. But as you can see on the left, no one is within touching distance of me, which is good. I don't want to feel violated, but regardless of whether here we go, the two lapped cars. We're having a little bit of a battle, so I honestly felt quite bad for interrupting it, but they're about to get blue flags. That was unnecessarily close. I think it was a bit of impatience from my end, to be fair, but thankfully they both got out of the way, hugging the wall on the exit, just trying to obviously just have a bit of fun at this point. Who knows, I might get to be bored at the end of the race and see a fastest lap. It's good not having to worry too much. You can just see over there, they're far out of view, and as we keep going, again, just pushing for the sake of it. Obviously, this championship consists of almost entirely just races around this track, but there we go, a yellow. Big crash on the exit there, and this is just gonna likely, and there's a full red. Just making sure everyone's okay. Yapping mostly. Here you can see them obviously all get him out of the barrier, just making sure he's okay. But as I was saying, obviously all of these races in this championship are at the same track, so it is worth pushing a little bit just to get a bit of familiarity. Maybe you'll learn something else in the next race. Here we go, we're back underway now, towards the end of the race. Obviously, under a red flag, you don't understand how much karting takes out of you until the end of the race or under a red flag, when the last 40 minutes catches up to you. But there we go, can rest now, doing the little hand gestures like I'm a poor man Sebastian Vettel. But there we go, we're 2 for 2, a very good start to the season, as we obviously just try and bring it home. There's still a lot of people racing, obviously some people are lapped down. But yeah, 2 for 2. So, fucking finally, in plenty of races into this championship, we're finally starting from pole. We got a good getaway, and I don't see another human being in sight, which is arguably a good thing, maybe a bad thing, I don't know. Obviously you don't want to get too ahead of yourself, just trying to manage. Got a really good start, managed to pull the pin quite a bit. Still wary of the car behind me, but there's a nice little buffer. Who am I kidding? He's glued to my rear, there's a problem. Obviously just trying to manage it. It's a bit typical leading from the front. It's not as easy as it looks, but also probably not as hard as Lando Norris makes it look. As we jump a little forward here, thankfully the gap is stretching out a little bit more. Can just breathe easy for now, not too much to worry about, because the start of these races has been a bit hectic for the first two, but here in race 3 it's a bit easier from my end. Actually, again, who am I kidding? There's someone right on my arse. Very close to the inside wall there, and now he's practically pushing me along. This wasn't as easy as I initially thought it might have been. So again, trying to be careful and needing to be wary, because some people may be quite aggressive, throw a wheel down the inside where it isn't maybe appropriate, so you've got to kind of be wary at all times. You don't know when you're going to need to kind of compromise, because sometimes their attack is too aggressive to defend, so you almost kind of just have to cut your losses. But it's a little fine for now. It's still quite close behind. Gonna take a short jump forward, and you can see there second place has gone into the wall. And that's a full race stoppage. Obviously it's ideal, but not ideal. Obviously race stoppage, everything catches up to you, you feel a bit tired. But it's ideal in the sense that it was second place. I've now got a massive buffer, and as we wait, this red flag ended up eating up quite a chunk of what is only a 15-minute race. As we still wait to get going, here we go. I was at a bit of an awkward angle, so I'm glad I managed to get away without an issue. Second place, will maintain second place, but obviously those few seconds he was in the barrier for while I was pulling away has almost irreparably damaged his chances of winning the race, as you can see. So the good thing is I get a bit of a cruise home. Again, like I said in race 2, it's not always that simple. You do want to push, but yeah, something that might stop that is another red flag. Now, one of the unfortunate downsides to me being so far away is I have no idea what's happening. I presume I asked after the race, but I can't travel back a year and a half in time and tell you. So I'm going to assume someone blew up. But yeah, green light again. Hopefully we can get to the end of this race without any more issues now, because obviously it's it can mess with you a little bit, both physically and mentally, to have like the race stopped over and over again. Obviously, the only good thing about TeamSport is the red just freezes everything as is. If it was similar to F1, I'd be really annoyed that all of my hard work is gone, but yeah, it doesn't matter. We have better rules and regulations than a Formula 1. I'm allowed to swear in these videos. Fuck. But yeah, honestly, quite an uneventful race, and there we go. Most of it eaten up by red flags, but we're 3 for 3 currently. Now, the way the championship is formatted is it's 6 races with your best 4. Counting towards your points total. I've gone 3 for 3 at this point. So, I might get lucky. And if I can get a good result in this next race, I might not even have to show up for 5 and 6. I guess we'll find out. Of course, I wait until the final race of the season to get my worst qualifying position. 5th tries to challenge me briefly, but doesn't. And 3rd, yeah, he's gone. So, to give you the full background, this was not the 4th straight race I competed in, but only the 4th of the championship. I couldn't make what was technically races 4 and 5 because of college-related issues at this point in time, but basically, the leader, Dylan Hyde, who you saw, he competed in those 2 races, and this is both our final race of the championship. He picked up another win in his 2nd place in my absence, meaning if I was to finish 2nd in this race, which I currently am, we would be joint on points and effectively tied. I don't think there would anything they could do. I don't know how the countback rules apply, but I would be, you know, aiming to make that not a problem, because if I could just take my 4th straight win, then I would be champion. But he's managed to put on a little of a breakaway. We had to skip some time ahead to get onto his rear, at which point we hit him. Don't know why I'm putting my hands up, I don't know. Maybe he just stalled out of the corner. These karts are very temperamental. If you even tap the brake ever so slightly, it's a problem. And now, bigger problem, red flag. Jump forward a little bit and here we are back under green conditions, and that's annoying because obviously this race is there's big consequences for this race, it's very important. And we've missed out on time to make the move. We're all back on even footing though, and we're straight onto the back of him here. Gonna try and take a slightly tighter line. He drifts wide. The rear seemed a bit unsteady on his kart there, but there's not much we can do there. He runs it out very wide. There's a bit of contact. He feeds us into the wall. Very unnecessarily aggressive here. And he locks the brakes and we've made contact at the apex. Now, looking at that, it's very easy. I thought it was my fault at first, but he's attempted to go light, realized he's going to go wide, and has just had to use the brakes to get it stopped, and that snapped his rear round. You're not really supposed to be heavy on the brakes in karts. But anyway, now we've had a red flag, we're back underway, and he's still glued to the back of my kart, which is quite the problem, because this race, obviously, me missing 2 rounds, meaning this is my 4th race that contributes to my points total. I can't afford to have a slip up or a 2nd place here because I don't have another race to make up for it. He's still stuck to the back of my kart. There's not much I can do here. I stay wary of the potential of him stuffing it down my inside because I don't know if he thought what happened at the hairpin there was his fault or my fault. I don't know if he'll feel like it's a declaration of war or something and he's about to stuff it down my inside. That's not an innuendo, I swear. Very aggressive on turning. He's still stuck to the rear of my car. There's nothing I can do to get rid of him. We jump a little forward and he's still there. He's like a little fucking parasite. As we just jump forward past up this hill here, not much has happened. He's not made considerable ground. I haven't lost any ground. We're just kind of stalemated. He's still stuck to the rear of my car, though I cannot drop him for the life of me. we jump to the exact same point of the next lap just to see how much progress we've made, and the progress is 0. There's no progress. It's just, we're very even, and it's... I wouldn't be surprised if I'm not pushing it 100% through fear of putting it in a wall, so I'm just driving to my mirrors. I feel like the steering inputs look a little bit conservative, and here we go. He's down the inside. I hit the wall on exit. I don't really think he fed me into there. I think I just oversteered. No, sorry, understeered. I know my terms. But now this is a big problem. Because again, I don't know how comeback works. I can't remember. I don't know if we're going to win. So I'm going to need to try and make my way past him. I'm just glad that after 4 races we finally get some proper battling. Because I have been trying my hardest to make this video entertaining, but God, I'm too good at karting. I make it boring. And here we go, we're going to try and get the cut back here. Can't get the power down. I'm going to use the boost going up the hill, but it's not really something you want to stick a nose up unless you want to murder the driver in front and kill yourself in the process. Going up the hill, I tend to have a little bit more momentum, but this time around, Dylan manages to just stay ahead. Going to try the cutback, but again, the way that I approach seeing behind another car is just try to fill the space that he isn't. See if I can make him to get any brash moves or make the best use of a better run out of a corner. Misses the apex there just in front of me, so trying to cut down, and then again he's late on the brakes, kicks the rear out, and we get past him. Obviously there's a bit annoying with the contact, but yeah, and now we're in hyperspeed. I didn't know I could drive this fast. He's still glued to the rear of my car. You can just see most of this is just, it's getting into a rhythm, like clicking off laps like a metronome, making sure everything's okay, but all of that matters nothing because he's still on the back of me. I don't know what I've got to do to get rid of him other than, I don't know, get out of the car and strangle him. That would get me banned. But here we go, we're moving on to another lap here, crouching down, we're trying to get every last bit of performance, jumping forward to the next lap as well, and we've gained like, what, an inch? There's just no margins here. Everyone is on the same wavelength, and even third place is there. There's a chance that I might not need to do anything if Dylan was to get past. But here we go, this was my main worry going into this. Lapped traffic, how do they play a part? Because for the most part they've been great during this series, but I've still had my fair share of close calls. So you can see I keep looking behind me to see, is he just going to follow through? I'm kind of like in the back of my mind hoping he gets held up. That first lap car moves out of the way very graciously, and second car just the same. It's still very close. I'll probably get a quick look behind going through here, and yep, he's still there. Honestly, at this point I'm quite nervous. I need to keep the positions the way they are. Again, I've made the stupid decision to not show up to 2 races. It wasn't my fault. College kind of took priority. I got a distinction star if anyone cares. It was worth the sacrifice, but obviously I don't get a drop rate. I don't get any way to make this up, but it doesn't matter. So there we go. 4 from 4. And grid champions. Managing to get a little fist bump from Dylan. He's obviously that race was very aggressive, but I can't exactly be mad. It was really fun, a really fun championship, and I'm annoyed I haven't done anything like it since. I haven't had money or time. University's a whole lot worse than college. I've had jobs, but yeah, that's how I got that thing.